รียนเชิญคุณบ็อกนะครับ Developer Relation Program Manager จากทาง Google ขึ้นมาบนเวทีด้วยครับ Please give him a big round of applause ครับ
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Very good morning. Sawadee krap. I think that's more or less the only Thai phrase that I know. My name is Bok. I work for Google. I'm based in Singapore. I'm the Developer Relations Thailand lead for the DevRel team, working very closely with the GG folks and also supporting the Google Developer Expert Program as well. So first and foremost, I'll say that this is my second time doing a keynote for I/O Extended. The first time was 2016. So I'm very happy to be back here again doing this keynote. So thank you very much, GG, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to talk to you guys so early in the morning. So let's get started. So what exactly is Google I/O? Well, Google I/O is our annual conference. It's a 3-day event that we hold annually every summer in Mountain View. And in those 3 days, we'll talk about technologies, we talk about products, features, trends and things like that, that we would like to spread to the developers and share with the developers from around the world. This is the 11th time that we did it. 2016 was our 10th year anniversary, and it was really a milestone for us. So for the 11th year, we focus on a couple of topics, AI, and as well as new computing experiences such as the assistant, virtual reality, as well as augmented reality, AR and VR. For those 3 days, we have seen, let me just try to move on to the next slide. Oh. All right, here we go. So for those 3 days, we have over 7,000 attendees flock into Mountain View. It was really a big venue. You can see there's a lot of people right there. We as Googlers, we are not so fortunate. We are only allowed to sit under the hot sun at the back on the lawn area. And we were told that do not sit in front. Those are for our attendees, right? So I was basically sunburned after the 3 days, which was definitely a good experience in terms of getting a healthy suntan. 140 plus sessions. Was really an action-packed 3 days, right? And some of the things that we talk about, some of the numbers that we shared are basically those that are flashed on the screen. The Android platform has grown quite substantially in 2016. We are now looking at 2 billion monthly active users on Android. That's taking the world population of 7 billion into consideration. That's almost 1/3 of the populations are actually using Android, which is pretty substantial. We are proud that we are actually empowering that many of people around the world, giving them access to information online. There's roughly around 82 billion apps downloaded from the Play Store in 2016. Also a huge milestone for us. We are very happy to see that the ecosystem on the Play Store is actually growing very healthy. More than 1 billion hours has been spent on YouTube. I'm not sure if everyone here likes watching YouTube. Just for some perspective, Thailand is actually the #1 country for Google in terms of number of hours spent on YouTube. So I'll say give a hand of applause to yourself, guys. You guys are simply amazing. You guys are what keeps us going, you see. Right, so we want to make YouTube better for each and every one of you here in Thailand. I'm going to show some of the new features in YouTube. So remember, you guys are #1 when it comes down to YouTube watch hours. We have around 1 billion users which are actively using those 6 what we call hero products for Google. They are Play, Chrome, Google.com, YouTube, Inbox, as well as Maps. It's actively supporting 1 billion users each on those products. Simply amazing. And Assistants, which we introduced last year in 2016, is currently getting around into the hands of more than 100 million devices in just a year span. So you can see it's an action-packed year for us. And 2017, we could only hope that these numbers continue to grow moving forward. Some of the key technologies we talk about in I/O this year, I'll just sum it up on the slides into 6 areas. AR and VR, assistants, Google Apps, Android, cloud and AI, web and APIs. right? I'll not go into detail what all this, what are the kind of like nitty-gritty features that's being discussed. I'll just talk through them very high level, and then later on there are sessions, throughout the day that you can actually go to learn a bit more. So let's start off with AR and VR. Oh, let me just go back. So AR and VR, or VR and AR, whatever you want to call it, are basically new frontiers for us. Just a show of hands. Who are developing AR and VR content right now? Anyone? I've seen a couple of hands at the back. So if you haven't started, hopefully after this session, it will actually inspire you to try it out. It's really, really fun. One of the things that we want to focus on was Daydream, right? We brought Daydream into the light last year in 2016 with Daydream 1.0. And throughout that year, we gotten a lot of learnings in terms of how we can improve the feature set. So in iOS 17, we announced Daydream 2.0 and how it's going to look like. Some of the key features are very simple. We want to improve the user interface a little bit with notifications, and then you will also be able to cast your VR view onto TV, right? You can show people what you're exactly looking at and experiencing in a VR environment. You can do screenshots, you can capture that, share that on social media. Right? We want to bring more people into the VR experience in a more social context. A new Chrome browser will be available in Daydream as well, and I'll talk to a little bit why that is actually important. And then, for those of you using a Samsung S8, right, very soon you'll be able to support Daydream 2.0. For iPhone users, I have to apologize. I don't think that's going to happen. But you get the picture. So Daydream 2.0 is going to be out at the end of 2017. Look out for it. It's going to be really exciting. Then, in the classroom setting, we started thinking, what can we do to enrich the experiences of students learning in the classroom? And that's when we look into Expeditions. If you haven't heard of Expeditions, it's our project in a classroom that allows students to learn in a VR environment. It was only VR before. But this year, we are bringing in AR as well. And what this does is that with a Tango device, which is kind of like our device that supports augmented reality, with all the sensors and all the cameras that's on the device, we will be churning out content that educators can use in a classroom setting to overlay interesting data, interesting facts, on top of real-world objects. Right, so if you're interested, if you're in the education field, if you're interested, go to the link right there, and you can find out a little bit more about what Expedition Augmented Reality program is all about. Web VR. I mentioned earlier on that it's really exciting to have Chrome in a VR environment, and that's because of Web VR. Who are web developers in the house? Any web developers? Come on, there must be more than that. Don't be shy. Yeah, I see a couple of hands up there, right? Well, web developers, if you haven't taken a look at this, web VR is very real and it's actually happening. It's not a new technology, by the way. Mozilla kind of came out with their A-frame technology, but right now we are supporting web VR technology natively in Chrome. And the best thing about the web is that you can build one across all different platforms. Build one app that works across all different platforms. Right, mobile, tablets, laptops, so on and so forth. And you can also link and deep link and just share your content, your VR content, your VR app, sections of your VR app just by using a link. So that's what the web is all about. So play around with it, web VR on Chrome, and look out for AR support coming soon. Or if you are kind of experimental, you can actually download the Chromium version and then play around with the AR support in Chromium. YouTube. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. New features in YouTube. We'll be launching YouTube VR very soon. Very soon being 6 months' time, I hope. And what YouTube VR allows you to do is that you can actually jump into a 360 movie together with your friends. And you can then watch that 360 movie together with your friends. And not only that, but you can chat as well using a headset and voice chat, right? So hopefully that gives you a different experience. And I feel that this is some of the things that is really exciting that we are able to do these days with VR. So look out for that, and start thinking about, if you're YouTube creators in the room, start thinking about what are the 360-degree videos that you can use or you can produce that allows people to come in, chat about it, talk about it, and interact with your video, right? Very soon, later in 2017. Tango Devices. If you've not seen the Tango Devices, just Google for it. Unfortunately, I don't have a screenshot here on the slide. But Tango Devices are really cool. It's like a tablet, or nowadays, what we call a phablet. It has a lot of cameras on it. You have a lot of sensors on it. And what it does is that it's able to understand the depth and the space in an area. As you walk around, the device will map it out, right? Exactly how it's being shown in the screenshot right there. And if you are a developer, you can start to think about how you can overlay content, right? That makes sense. One really very interesting and very inspiring example is that a fire department in a state in the US actually developed an app that maps out the interior of buildings. So at any point of time, if someone is trapped in a fire situation, they'll be able to use that. The fireman will be able to navigate through the buildings, understanding what to expect across, right around the corridor. So more Tango devices are coming along into the consumer market. We have one recently built by Lenovo. So if you Google for Lenovo Tango, you'll be able to buy that device. I think it's not available officially in Thailand, but maybe MBK will have it. You can go and take a look. By the way, I bought my Google Pixel in MBK. So that's why I love coming back to Thailand, get stuff that's not available in Singapore. Pretty cool. So Tango devices, moving on, let's talk about assistants. Right, Google Assistants. Assistants, we believe, is the next evolution of Google. And why we say that? For the past 9 to 10 years, Google is all about Google.com. Our mission is to make information easily accessible, structured in a way that it's available to all of you guys through Google.com. Assistants, we want to bring that to the next level. Allows you to interact with your data information using voice. But sometimes voice isn't the most natural way to interact with your data information, right? So we look into other methods. Google Lens, which will be released later in 2017. And it's an application that allows you to take your phone, you point it at a landmark, a restaurant, or a particular, a shop, a place. And if we have the data for it, we will then overlay it exactly how it looks like in a screenshot without you even saying a word, right? So hopefully that makes things easier because sometimes voice isn't really appropriate in particular settings, right? So that's available later in 2017 as a standalone app. Look out for it in the Play Store and download it and try it out. And give us feedback, right? Give us feedback how we can actually improve Google Lens. Coming back to assistants, if you're using an Android phone, you'll be most probably playing around with this already, I hope. If you're using an iPhone, right, I'll tell you guys are in luck. Right, Assistant is coming to iPhone. Very soon you'll be able to download Assistants and then very similarly access the information that Google provide through Google Assistants. And it's coming to new countries as well. Thailand has not been launched officially in Thailand, but it's definitely on the roadmap. Very soon you'll be able to interact with Assistant using your native language with the Thai language. Right, so that's coming at the end of 2017. But apart from just on the consumer side of things, we want to empower and enable developers. So I think a couple of months back, we released the Assistant SDK. Now, if you're a developer, this is pretty exciting because you can then use the Assistant SDK to make your own smart devices, right? It integrates with the same engine that Google Assistant uses, right? It supports audio, and natively the API does that for you, and then translate that and spit out text for you, so you don't have to handle all the speech-to-text complexity of things. And the natural language processing enablement is all handled by the SDK, right? So you don't have to plug in another natural language engine, for your users to interact with your smart devices, right? It's available now. Do check it out. That picture was actually a smart device that is used to make cocktails. Right? You can. Now, what's a good conference without a virtual cocktail assistant like that? So it was really interesting. People walk up to it and just say, "Hey, I want to order this particular cocktail." The assistant will figure out how to do it and produce it. Pretty cool. So you can basically do things like this with the assistant SDK. But then again, we take a step back and we think about, all these things are wonderful. It's awesome, right? You guys can, as an SDK, you can start playing around with it. But if it's going to be hard to do or hard to use, there's really no point. So we started looking at some of the really difficult use cases on mobile phone. And that's purchasing, right? Buying things off your mobile. How many of you buy stuff on your mobile phone? Nice. I see a couple of hands. Okay, so this might be really interesting to you guys who are avid buyers using a mobile phone. Transactions are going to be supported, and what this means is that you can easily, if a shop integrates with assistants, you go to assistants, you search for a shop, and then you see a product you like, you're able to buy directly from it without having to jump out to another application, to a web browser to complete the purchase cycle. So we're making it very, very easy for users to complete the purchase cycle, but also make it very easy for developers to start providing this kind of seamless workflow if you're in the e-commerce business. You can also transfer money as well across users. Later in 2017, this is only going to be in US only. It will take some time before it trickles down to the other countries. But if you're really interested, keep track of this news and the development of how transaction is like on assistants. Just Google for it, you'll be able to find more information. And ChatBase. Chatbot has been really exploding, right? Almost everyone I talk to is say, "Oh, I really love how chatbot is. I want to develop my own chatbot, this and that." But then when I ask them, like, "How do you measure the success of your chatbot?" They say, "Oh, by number of messages." Okay, but any other metrics that you're looking at? "Oh, I basically have to do my own way of collecting those data and analyzing it." Well, we want to take that complexity away from developers. And therefore, we introduced ChatBase, which is analytics for chatbot. If you're using API.ai to develop a chatbot, all these things are automatically tracked for you, right? So ChatBase is coming. Actually, you can actually access it now if you Google for ChatBase. If you want to play around with it, just ask for access. It's very limited. You might get it, you might not, but hey, just give it a try. And hopefully that makes things simpler if you're developing a chatbot. Or if you're thinking of building a startup or a business around chatbots, this might be really interesting for you to look at. So we talk a little bit about AR, VR. We talk a little bit about Assistant. Let's talk a little bit about Android, right? We have been focusing on Android as an operating system for a lot of years now. And one of the new advancements that we have in Android are pretty exciting because the first thing that we announced and we talk about is Android Instant Apps. We first introduced Instant Apps in 2016 in Google I/O. And 1 year later, it's officially available right now. You can go and check out the link there to get more information on how you can start developing Instant Apps. And Instant Apps are really Android apps that user can use without installing, right? So a lot of the hard challenges we heard from developers that, the Play Store has so many apps, my app is very hard to be discovered by users. Right now, you can actually develop an Android Instant Apps, right? And you will be able to map it to a particular scenario or workflow, and that functionality of your app will be called into action for the user to try it out. And if they really like it, they can go to the Play Store and download it, right? So if you're really interested, look out for Android Instant Apps. It's available right now. Play around with it. Give us our feedback, and let us know, what are the things you like and dislike about Instant Apps. Android things, IoT. Everyone is talking about IoT, right? How do I do IoT? How I want to build some IoT devices. So our Android things is our platform, our IoT platform that is running on the Android operating system. It's still very early days, but if you want to try it out, just Google for Android things. It supports a few very popular IoT circuit boards right now. It has a couple of Android images that you can download and put it onto the board to start developing IoT devices. So play around with it, right? IoT is really an interesting space to be in right now. And if you're an Android developer, this will all feel very similar or familiar to you. But as a developer, I've been a developer and I was a developer. Unfortunately, I don't have any more time to develop. But as a developer, one of the most exciting news I heard from I/O 2017 today was Kotlin. Right? Any Kotlin in develop? Okay, I can tell that you guys love Kotlin. Right? So Kotlin is officially a natively supported language for Android. Right? If you're using Kotlin, congratulations. You're able to kind of do this natively. You're able to code natively in Android Studio. All the features are supported, syntax highlighting or whatsoever, profiling and whatsoever. Kotlin is now an official supported language for Android. Right? And you can also make Kotlin code base with Java code base. Right? Very easily, seamlessly, the workflow has all been figured out. So play around with it. Once again, congratulations to all the Kotlin developers. It's because that you guys are so adamant about Kotlin, you kind of convince us that we really need to support this. So thank you. Thank you very much. And the next thing I want to talk about is cloud. Cloud and AI, right? Everyone is saying, okay, let's go to cloud. Everyone's talking about machine learning. Everyone's talking about AI. From a Google perspective, one of the things that we are good at is building infrastructures that scale. And we have a lot of this kind of infrastructure initially in our server farms. And then we started our whole journey on the cloud. And of today, we have really kind of offer a very amazing suite of cloud products as well as cloud features to the mass developer ecosystem. As well as AI, right? We've been doing a lot of machine learning research internally as well, and we really kind of share that with you guys. So our CEO, Sundar, he basically said in an interview that machine learning and artificial intelligence are unlocking capabilities that are unthinkable only a few years ago. I want to believe that's true, and I do believe that that's true. A lot of the advancement that we've seen in recent years is all enabled or powered by machine learning and artificial intelligence. Obviously, there's a lot of kind of like also another end of the spectrum saying that, hey, maybe AI is moving a little bit too fast. I'll leave it to you guys to judge for yourself. But if you're in this space, it's really exciting. And there's a lot of research, a lot of tools, a lot of resources that are already available to you to take advantage of. So we launched a website called ai.google.com or google.ai. And what this website has is that all the research that we have done internally, as well as those we have shared externally, we centralize it onto this website. Right? It contains all the documentation, tools, resources, research papers, that hopefully if you are starting to get into this area, you'll be able to get a head start with all the groundwork that all these amazing individuals have contributed to this industry. So ai.google, check it out, and hopefully you find that useful. Automatic machine learning. Machine learning is really a very interesting topic, right? And one of the things we talk about is how do you actually train your machine learning models to be able to grow on its own, right? How you be able to train it to get better. Now the training bit, that part, needs a lot of processing power, needs a lot of time, needs a lot of training, needs a lot of data, right? So what we started to experiment is machine learning networks that is able to train on its own, right, and expand, right? Automatic machine learning, using machine learning to invent new machine learning. Sounds a little bit recursive, if you know what I mean. So it's still in experimental phase. We have no idea how this will actually be rolled out to the public. I mean, at least I don't. But if you're really interested, go to that blog right there and follow the news, right? And the idea of this is that so developers will not have to spend time to train your machine learning models or machine learning system. More hopefully in the future, those things will be able to scale out on their own. Right? So it's a very interesting research exercise that we are currently doing. And I'll urge you guys to read that blog or go look out for more information about automatic machine learning. On the hardware side, cloud TPU. TPU stands for Tensor Processing Units. Right? We are actively making it available onto our cloud infrastructure, all our servers, not all, but hopefully we can get them into all our servers. We have this cloud TPU processing unit. And the idea is that all these cloud TPUs or processing unit are designed to be able to perform effectively or efficiently on machine learning activities, right? The second generations of AI chips are now available, and they are available through the cloud compute engine. So this processing power is available to you every time you start a new instance on the Google Cloud Compute Engine, right? Once again, the alpha program is going to be coming up at the end of 2017. Do check it out. And if you are into compute instances, if you're managing infrastructure and things like that, this might be additional processing power that is available to you very soon, and you might want to really keep a close eye out of it. For mobile developers, we kind of announced Tensorflow Lite, and that's basically a TensorFlow engine. TensorFlow is our offering to the developer community. It's an open source project. You contribute to it as well. But with TensorFlow, you can start training your own models for machine learning, right? TensorFlow Lite is a stripped-down version of a more streamlined version of TensorFlow that you will be able to build into your mobile device, mobile applications, right? So you can easily machine learn enabled your mobile applications. So that's coming in end of 2017. Pretty sure there will be news on the GitHub, so check it out and just keep going to those websites to get the latest information. But then, on the fun side, right, we have AIY projects. AIY projects are do-it-yourself artificial intelligence kits. And if you are makers, right, this will be very interesting to you. We're going to be, actually, we have launched a first batch of Maker toolkits that allows you to build your own version of the Google Home. And that's seen right there as a small little cardboard box. And those, the blueprint of that cardboard box will be made available very soon. But the idea of this is that, you can download all the specification, print it out, start making Google Home Lite devices, and, start doing it all on your own and basically suit your needs. So go to that website, aiyprojects.withgoogle.com, and you'll get more information about all these maker kits for your Google Home Lite devices. So that's cloud and that's machine learning. We definitely did not forget about web and API. On the website, progressive web apps are continue to be our bet, right? We know and we believe that with PWA or progressive web apps, right, we're enabling web applications to be more resilient. And it's very relevant to places where network connectivity is very challenging. If you haven't built a PWA website or haven't looked at it, I encourage you to really start playing around with PWA. It's very interesting. And start, there's a lot of sample code, start building some PWA and get a feel for it. In Thailand particularly, there are two individuals and a group of folks. They are not in the room right now, but they started this PWA online hackathon. Right, that's the website. If you haven't participated, I'm not sure if it's still open for participation, but check it out. It's driven out here from Thailand, so you guys should feel very proud. And a big congratulations to people who start this project. Check it out, and there's some really cool prizes to be won as well. Firebase. So we have talked a lot about Firebase in 2016 after we acquired the company. And in 2017, we add on more features. Features such as scalable real-time databases, features such as stream view, cloud functions. If you haven't checked out cloud functions, it allows you to build microservices very easily with Firebase. We have a Firebase GD as well, who will be talking a lot about Firebase later on during the day. So I encourage you to go to his session to kind of really learn what's up with Firebase. Okay. Payment request APIs, very similarly, it's an API that allows you to plug in into your purchase workflow to simplify the entire experience, right? So I won't go down into too much details, but just Google for Google Payment Request API and check it out. It's really cool, to be honest. Why is it cool? It's because I'm not sure how you guys feel about typing in the mobile devices. Right? When I type in mobile, I always spell my password wrongly, my username wrongly. And what the Payment Request API allows you to do is allows you to buy stuff without entering your credit card details, so on and so forth. So it's really cool. So check it out. Google for Jobs, right? Google for Jobs is an API that we are looking to offer. And it's an AI-powered job search. Right? If you are in the recruitment business, this might be an API that you want to look at. It's not available right now in this region, unfortunately. It's only in the US. And we are looking to roll out other countries, hopefully, after that. But what it does is that it does intelligent matching between the candidate and the job opportunities. So yeah, just Google for Jobs, and you'll get more information. So I talk a lot about technology. I talk a lot about features. But one thing special about Google I/O in 2017 this year is community. Right? It's the first time in Google I/O we actually have a community lounge. Right? And I just want to spend a few moments describing how important this is. Community are developers like yourself that allows us to understand what is being needed on the ground, right? And for a very long time, the company has focused on products and technologies in conferences like I/O. But this year, we took a step back, and then we look at why we are doing all this is because of the community. So as part of the Google I/O setup, we have a very large community lounge available on site. And this is a place where all the GAG guys, all the GD folks, as well as just general developers come in, hang out, have a chat with Googlers, have a chat among themselves, and basically just share, right? Just as how we are doing it right here, right now. In 2016, my first I/O extended with GAG Thailand, it was basically mind-blowing. It's the first time I come to a conference, and that conference was being held in a cinema. I thought I was going for a movie, but it turned out it's even better than that. I/O Extended 2016 Bangkok was in Siam Paragon. It was amazing, and I was extremely nervous. If you guys attended my keynote last year, I did a bad job, so I apologize. It was too nerve-wracking, right? But it opened my eyes to the potential of the community, what the community here is capable of. 1,350 plus attendees turned out that day. 16 sessions, all planned out and ready to go. So I was very privileged, and I was very happy to be back here in 2017 again. So, I/O Extended 2017, this year, how is it going to be? Well, that's up to you guys, right? Feel free to take advantages of all the sessions. Go to those sessions, attend it, interact with the speakers, ask questions. Don't be shy, interact with one another. In fact, what I'm going to do to end this talk is I would like to invite everyone to stand up. Come on, stand up. Right? It's early in the morning. Right? What I want you to do is turn to the person beside you and introduce yourself. Shake hands. Give everyone a hug. Don't be shy. Start talking. Because you guys are going to spend the next few hours together. You can even ask them to add you on Facebook too, right? This is the perfect opportunity. All right, so let's not only do that for these few minutes, let's do that for the rest of the days as well. The next few hours, if you meet someone you don't know, reach out, introduce yourself, hug him, right? Hug him, and get his phone number, get his Facebook, right? Because that's how I/O Extended 2017 is going to be, right? Okay, so if I can kindly ask you guys to sit down again so that I can end my session and not be in the way of the next speaker, right? Hopefully everyone is kind of loosened up. If you have any photos shared with the hashtag, IO17BKK, we want to see how you guys are experiencing and enjoying this conference, especially the GAG organizing committee. So with that, I'll end my session. All right, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you guys here today and do a little bit of sharing. I also want to thank the GAG Thailand folks, the GDE as well, to have me here in Bangkok early on a Sunday morning to do some sharing. So thank you very much, Kapun Kap, and I hope you enjoy the day. Okay.